Good morning. Welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morris. Another Monday morning out here in Phoenix, Arizona. It is humid out there, and we typically don't have humidity. I think it said about 59% humidity this morning. Yesterday was 20-something percent. It's muggy. We're going into our monsoon season, our rainy season, and it's going to be rough. So we got to schedule accordingly with that. We got to watch the radar and the weather channel every morning before coming to work for the next month and a half or so for our monsoon seasons. We have to take care of our guys, make sure they're drinking lots of water. You know, we talk about drinking water, and that's one thing I try to focus on, staying hydrated. When it starts getting humid, we're sweating a lot more, and you sweat that out, and you got to make sure you're constantly refilling yourself. Don't want to get dehydrated. Don't want to pass out there on the job site. It's getting rough. It's getting tough out there. Something we're looking into new today is estimating tools for our business. You know, it's interesting. We've lost a couple estimators. We're trying to rebuild. We're growing within the company, bringing a couple guys in from the field. And one of them's catching on pretty quick. One's struggling a little bit, but he's eventually going to catch on. And told me this morning he bought himself a laptop, ordered it this morning, have it delivered to his place, so he can get better and more acclimated with typing, what he needs to do, learning how to move around with the computer technology and everything that's out there. And for us in the office, we're looking at new takeoff programs, you know, something different. We're old school. We take it off of the old paper, the blueprints. We're looking at different programs that we can do, and found one this morning completely new that I've never heard of or seen before. And it's got an AI program to it, which actually helps you and pretty much does the takeoff for you as you oversee it and watch it. You know, so as we grow in this business, as we move forward, you know, you look at technology and how it's taken over the world, you know, between all the social media apps and all the different programs out there. When it comes to construction, when it comes to what we do out there, what kind of technology is there for us? You know, when you look at plumbing and carpentry and framing, drywall, painting, what technology is out there? I remember a while back I'd seen a video of this robot that could paint a wall, and it was terrible. I think it failed miserably. You know, is there going to one day for us painters out there be a robot or a program that can paint an entire exterior of a house without manpower? You know, what's going to change out there? You know, everything's going to robots. I saw something here recently. I think it's a restaurant. I don't know if it was McDonald's or somewhere else, that there's no employees back there. It's all AI generated. It's all computer programmed and robots that are making your burgers and your French fries. Is that what's going to change in our industry? Or does it get to the point to where our industry is the only thing left that actually needs manpower? So how do we proceed with this? You know, looking at these programs for the takeoffs, we can do twice the amount of bids in half the amount of time. You know, is that something I want to get into with the business? It takes away the old format of how to learn to do a blueprint takeoff and read these blueprints. You know, as I go out there and I walk some jobs, I've met a couple superintendents that have tablets, and they're able to pull up the blueprints on there that have already been highlighted and taken off of one of these programs. And it's pretty interesting what they're doing. You know, is that the direction we need to go to? You know, how do we grow our business? You know, we struggle within the company trying to build up our labor force. You know, right now I'm looking at the company and trying to see how I can rebuild it from the top down. You know, what do I need to change? You know, sitting in there in the office, what do I need to change within myself with this business? We have a lot of employees. How do I change how I'm directing them, how I'm instructing them to do their jobs? So one thing we started last week is we're rewriting their job descriptions. It's actually on paper. You know, our project managers, we tell them what to do. They're being shown what to do. But is it written down? Is it visual that they can see it? So we went through and did a 3-page step process from receiving a contract to close out of the project, what their duties are, from step 1 to final closeout. Each of them, the 2 project managers for us, now have that hanging on their wall next to their desk. They can go through that and read through that exactly step by step of what needs to be done. When we look at our projects and where we're failing, where we're struggling, I can now go back and look at each step. Did we follow each step in the process to get to where we need to be? Where did we fail? What did we make the mistake on? This is to help them stay focused on their task of what they need to do. After doing that, the next step was for the superintendents right below them. We made a 3-page step-by-step process of what their job duties are, from the second they receive the job from the project manager to the closeout of that job. What is their step-to-step process of what they need to accomplish day to day? It's going to help them remain focused. It gives them some guidelines, because I'll do a ride along once in a while with the superintendent. I'll show them what to do. I'll talk them. I'll help them through different situations on how to deal with them. But the problem is, do they know step-by-step process what they're doing? Now, if I go back and I look at these jobs and they failed, once again, I can look at the step-by-step process. Did we follow each step to the T? Or did we skip a step? Did we miss a step? What changed on this project compared to another project? Every job is bid identical, square footage-wise, per door, per bollard, per everything that we do. So this process has now been implemented. As of today, we're rolling out our step-by-step process for our crew leaders. And that crew leader step-by-step process is printed off, and it's being handed to every single employee in the field, whether they're a crew leader or not. This is going to be a guideline moving forward. If you want to move up in position, if you want to proceed, you have to get to the next step. This is what you have to follow. It gives guidance on the steps of the project, the job. And not one single step tells you how to paint. Not one single step tells you how to brush, roll, spray, what to do, what size tips to use in the gun. It's a step-by-step process of how to run a job and be efficient on that job. I'm not looking for the best painters. I'm looking for the best leaders. Guys will learn to paint as they proceed in this. Now, 3 to 4 weeks from now, we're going to roll out the next step-by-step process for the painters in the field. It's going to be handed out to every single employee out there. Guys that we hire guys at $18 an hour with no experience, and we train them, we teach them in the field. But what they need to learn is a step-by-step process, how to get to the next level, how to become a crew leader. What do they need to do to be more proficient in the field and learn their skill, their trade, and get to that next level? This description of each job is also where they're going to be graded on moving up in position and getting their future raises in this business. So we're creating some structure that we've never had before. We're growing to a level to where we need more structure. It's going to help them stay focused. It's going to help everybody not get overwhelmed with what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's tough when you go out on a job and you're on a job site and you've got 10 different trades working on top of each other. How do you deal with that? It's going to explain step by step in there how to deal with these situations. So we're creating a structure that we need to build ourselves stronger. We're creating a structure to build leaders. We're creating a structure that's not going to build followers. Everybody's going to lead to a certain extent within the company. They're going to help each other and build each other up to the next level. You know, you're only as good as your worst painter. You're only as good as your worst employee. So how do you get them to build them up? You know, what we're looking to change is we're looking to change the quality over quantity. I want quality before I get the quantity. As time goes on, as you perfect your skill, you're going to become faster. That's a given. That's in any trade, any business, whatever you do. You know, but where's the guidance in what we're doing? You know, a greeter at Walmart. Let's just use that for an example. If you're a greeter at Walmart and you're out there greeting people, are you instructed how to do it? Do they give you guidelines how to meet somebody and greet somebody? You know, make sure you have some guidance. You can't tell somebody just go out there, hey, just say hi to everybody and make them feel happy today. It doesn't work that way. I'm sure Walmart has steps in place for a greeter of what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to greet somebody. They're supposed to smile. Here's your step-by-step how to do this. You know, if I'm wrong, if you're a greeter out there somewhere at Walmart and you're listening to this, or you know somebody, I'd love to know. Share this information with us. We'd love to share that knowledge with other people on how to be the best greeter out there. I don't care what you're doing out there. We want to be the best at it. We want to be the best employee. We want to be the best leader. You know, everybody talks about they want more money, they want this, or they deserve more, but are you the leader that company's looking for? Are you the person that they go to when they things get tough and the job is tough and you're the go-to person. I can't begin to tell you how many employees I have that I got superintendents and general contractors specifically requesting those employees. I guarantee you when it comes time for a raise, those employees always get the raise. They're the ones making the most money. They're the ones that are requested the most. That shows value in that person. They're the ones that are the leaders. They're the ones that are following the description of that job of what they're supposed to do on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes it's a hour-by-hour basis that you have to follow that job description on the job site. You're multitasking. Can you multitask out there? You know, you've heard the saying, some people can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Well, on a job site, can you lead and work? I'm not looking for leaders that all they're going to do is be out there telling people what to do. They have to be able to work side by side and be a leader. You have to be efficient at this. You have to be able to guide people. You need to be able to guide people from the beginning of the day to the end of the day and make sure they're on time. Make sure they know how to access the job site. Make sure they know what their duties are for that day. Give them direction on, okay, we're starting at 8 o'clock. By noon, we have to be at this point. Are we going to meet our goals? Are we going to meet our deadlines? Set deadlines and goals. You know, I'm always trying to set myself deadlines and goals farther than what I can achieve. You know, like it or not, all employees are equal out there. You know, they're equal to each other. You have to be able to look at this person and walk on a job and treat each other as equals as you go into the job site. On the job site, we have to treat everybody as equals. We're equal in the sense that we all have the right to show up and have an efficient job site to work in. We have to treat each other with respect. But in the end, not everybody is equal. Some people are stronger than others. Some are better leaders than others. They're going to step up to the plate and step over somebody to get to where they need to be. And that's okay. We need workers out there. We also need leaders out there. And even though you're just a worker, you can still be a leader if someone new comes in that doesn't have the experience. Some people don't want to move up in position. That's okay. I've got guys that work for me that I offered to put them up in the next position, and they said, no, John, you know what? I'm happy where I'm at. I just want to stay here. I want to keep working. I want to fine-tune myself in this trade. I want to learn more about painting. I don't want to be a superintendent. I don't want to be an estimator. That's okay. Not everybody is cut out for that, and that's okay. But if that's what you want, do everything you can to educate yourself to get to that level. Start doing some research. Start finding out, what does it take to be a superintendent? What does it take to be a project manager? Do I need to understand how to read blueprints and read plans? Well, you do. And if you don't know how to do that, start learning how to do that. Start educating yourself. I got a couple of guys that come in the office once in a while, and every time they do, they come from the field, they go straight to the estimating department and they start picking the guy's brains in there. Hey, where do you look for this on this page? How do I find the colors? How do I find a door schedule? What page am I looking for? They're trying to educate themselves. They're trying to become better at what they're doing. That's what you have to do. You have to learn to get to that next level. You have to educate yourself. Don't think you just deserve it because you've been here a certain amount of time. The guys that move up into business with us, it's not seniority. I'm not going to move someone up just because they've been here longer. I'm going to move whoever is best fit for the next position that shows the most potential. And sometimes moving up to that position, they realize it wasn't for them. It was too overwhelming. It wasn't what they expected. And then they move back in the field, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're not going to move up eventually. Maybe you just need some more time in the field. Maybe you need some more time in your skill, in your trade, to get to that next level. You weren't ready for it. You thought you were, but it wasn't that moment in time for you. That doesn't mean it's not going to be there in the future. I guarantee you it will eventually be there. You know, and just because you're overlooked and you're not chosen for that next position, don't let it beat you up. Don't let it get you down. I've got a couple guys working for me that, you know, they want to become an estimator. They want to become a superintendent. And I'm looking at what they're doing out there. I'm looking at their skill set. I'm looking at their leadership skills. And it's just not there yet. It doesn't mean I've overlooked them. I'm just waiting for something more to come out. I'm waiting for that aha moment, that moment that says, aha, I'm ready. It's there. And I see it in them. And they will know when that moment hits. Because when that moment hits, that's when I'm going to see it too. And they'll realize that was that aha moment, that this is it. I'm ready. Let's go. It's game time. It's time to move forward. It's time to step up. And they're going to know when that moment hits. You know, you just got to keep pushing forward. You can't stop. You can't lose your momentum. You know, you can't lose that drive. You know, you have to have a good work ethic. And you can't take your frustration out on other people around you. You can't take your frustration out on the other employees or the job, or, you know, just say, they keep passing me up. I'm just, screw it. I'm not going to work hard now. I'm not going to keep pushing forward. You showed that work ethic up to that moment. Now you just gave up. No, it's time to work harder. You know, one thing I try to tell guys too is, if you see somebody moving up, don't get jealous. Don't get upset. Look at them and say, what are they doing differently that I'm not? How did they get noticed? What can I do differently to be noticed? And these guys that think, the only way you move up is sucking up to the boss or being his buddy or being friends, I'm just going to call bullshit on that. It doesn't work that way. And the guys that are saying that and believing out there are the ones that are giving up and not trying. The ones that feel that and constantly believe that, I'm telling you, if you would stop with that mindset and change the way you think, change the way you work, you will see a difference. I guarantee it. And if that's truly where you're working at is being run, then get out of it. Find a different company that's going to treat you better. There are companies out there, I guarantee it. I can give you 20 paint companies right now in the Valley that I know, and I know the owners of the business that treat their employees with respect, and the guys that work for them love working for these gentlemen. There are companies out there that will take care of you. So all this, where I work, they don't do that. Well, why are you still working there? You want to move up, but yet you're still working there. So I'm going to call BS on you and your comments or whatever you're saying out there, because you're just complacent. You're happy. You're just collecting a paycheck. If you're just in it for a paycheck, then you have no room to say anything. You're the employee that's never going to move up. You're the employee that's never going to gain anything. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop with the comments and all the crap that you're throwing out there, and start doing something differently. It's crazy how guys out there will bitch and moan and complain and not do anything about it. They'll talk bad about the company. They'll roll the company under the bus. They'll roll the superintendents under the bus. They will make comments out there, but yet they do nothing to change their situation. How can you complain about everybody else? You're constantly pointing a finger at somebody else and never taking an internal look at yourself. I have to take an internal look at myself right now with my business and how I can grow it and change it. How can I improve on what I'm doing? How can I change the growth of my business? No one's going to do it unless I implement it. It has to start at the top going down. And you, as employers out there that are running your businesses and running your companies and hiring people and firing people, start taking a look at how you're rolling your business out. How can you change from the top down? It starts with leadership. How can I be a better leader today? And it doesn't matter whether you're the owner of the company or you're one of the people at the bottom. There's always somebody new coming in with less experience than you. So how can I be a better leader? How can you be a better leader? By sharing the knowledge that we've gained over time. Sharing the knowledge of what we've learned in this business, sharing the knowledge of how we've grown in this business, sharing the knowledge of how to paint, how to frame, how to plumb, how to do whatever trade you're doing. If you're the greeter at Walmart training the next person, what have you learned to be a better greeter? Share that information and knowledge. Everybody thinks it's a secret. You know, we're losing so many people in the construction industry. There's nobody coming into this business. We're having to train new people every day. This business is falling apart because nobody wants to go into the labor trades. So how can I train the next generation? How can I teach the new people coming in how to do this business? How can I teach them to be better painters, better estimators, superintendents, project managers? How can I teach people to become leaders? How can I guide them to teach the next generation coming in, the next person coming in? We do have a certain amount of employees that I call my revolving door employees. They come and go. And then we do have the ones that become stable and they stick with us, that want to be with a good company. They want to grow within a company. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the ones that want to grow, the ones that want to become leaders, the ones that want to change their lives, the ones that aren't just looking to change their work life, but their personal life. As you become a leader in a company and as you become leaders and start to teach others, it'll roll out into your personal life too. The growth changes you. It changes who you are. It changes you as a person. I want to grow emotionally, mentally, financially. That's what we're in this for. And if we focus on that, focus on the positive, on how to grow, we do become better at it. And it changes our whole lives. I've seen it in our guys. I've seen it in their personal lives. And some guys grow to the point where they leave us and they move on to something else, something different. That's okay. Just because I say at different times that I want employees that are going to be with me forever, I know that's not the case with some people. Some people need to find their own journey, their own path to go on. And that's okay. That's part of growing. That's part of expanding what you need to do in your personal life. We all need that. We all change as time goes on. It happens in our personal life. It happens with raising kids. Your ideas, your different things change. It happens in your marriage. As we grow as a couple, that changes as well. We learn to become more mature, wiser as we get older. It's interesting how I look back in my life as a kid growing up and thinking, man, I knew more than my parents. My parents didn't know shit. But as I grew older, I realized, holy crap, they were smarter than I realized. I was an idiot as a kid. We all are. We all go through that phase as we grow up, that aha moment where we realize, oh, my parents actually knew something. And I've apologized to my parents at this point in my life for being that kid, that dipshit per se. That's not who I am. It's who I was, but I've grown from that. And as I become older and wiser, I realize that as well. My work ethic, I don't know where that came from. I believe it's from my mother, watching her and what she did to raise a family, to help us, to grow. I didn't have a father that I was close to, and, I didn't talk too much as an adult, and there was no relationship there. So I look at my mother as the work ethic that she had and how she raised the family and what she did to provide for us and make sure that we had everything we have. Not even realizing it, I look back and I think that was my role model. She was the one that made me who I am today. And I honestly believe that because of her upbringing and the way she raised me and what she taught me, not even by telling me, but just by actions. Her actions speak louder than anything. And I realize that now that I'm getting older, that my actions will speak louder than anything. What I sit here and talk to you guys about, what I'm constantly going over, this reflects in my own personal life. It reflects in my business. I'm not just sitting here to talk, but I actually walk the walk as well. And that's proven in my day-to-day business and what I deal with. That's proven in the fact that I'm up at 3 o'clock every morning. I'm at the office every day at 4:30. Sometimes I'm the last to leave. Now, as the business gets bigger and I have more people in different positions, I don't have to put in the hours that I used to growing the business. And that's part of reaping the benefits of starting all this. But I've had to work my ass off to get to where I'm at. I constantly work at where I'm going. I'm constantly working at where I'm trying to go to. I'm not just sitting in my office counting my money. It doesn't work that way. I'm sitting in my office counting how am I going to make payroll this week? How am I going to pay 100 employees? How am I going to pay my paint bills? The lease where our office and shop is, the cell phone bill, the vehicle payments. There's more to running a business. Look at your own personal life. If you look at the struggles of what it takes to have a family and survive in today's day and age, what it takes to put food on the table, what it takes to make that car payment, to pay your rent or pay that mortgage, it's the exact same thing in a business. It's the exact same thing. It doesn't change. But the difference is it's times 1,000. It's just a higher level of money. It's a higher level of business. You know, let's say you have a wife and 2 kids, or a husband and 2 kids that you have to provide for and make sure everything is there. The difference for me is instead of 2 kids, I have 100 kids. I have 100 employees that I have to take care of. That's the difference. Yes, I'm in the office counting the money every single day, but it's to pay the bills. It's to pay the mortgage. It's to pay the lease. It's to pay the multiple vehicle payments. It's to pay the health insurance for every single employee that has it. We pay 50% of their medical after they've worked for us for a period of time. I got one of my guys coming up to me, "Hey, John, where do I go to? I need reading glasses. What do I do?" I have the insurance for it. Well, now we're dealing with that. It's making sure every single person has what they need. It's no different than if you were doing that for your kid. It's the exact same thing. I have to make sure every single employee has a paycheck every single Friday. Guaranteed. The money has to be there. The leadership that it takes to run something like this is at a whole nother level. And trust me, there's been times I want to quit or I just want to give up. I need a break. I can't. You can't quit on your family. You can't quit on your kids, can you? You can't just up and walk away. Well, I know there's some people out there that do that to their families and they're paying child support, but I'm not talking about those idiots. I'm talking about the ones that want to actually take care of their family. You can't quit. You can't walk away. You have to find those moments of self-care, those moments where you're going to take care of yourself. You know, the stress level gets tough sometimes raising a family and raising kids, and you need a break once in a while. You can't drown your sorrows out in alcohol or drugs or just disappear. You have to face the music. You have to face the situations. And that's how you become wiser at this. You know, for me this weekend, really didn't want to do anything. You know, I met some friends for lunch on Saturday. Other than that, I broke a new record on my steps for the day on Saturday. I had less than 1,000. I didn't do anything this weekend. I slept more this weekend than I think I do Monday through Friday. I took naps. That was my self-care with all the stress of what I'm dealing with right now. It was just re-energizing myself. I needed that. Woke up this morning. I feel fresh this morning. I feel ready to go to take on the world. My business can throw any problem they want to at me right now, and I'm going to be able to tackle it head on. I'm not scared to do it. That's what a leader does. But at the same time, a leader, when he needs help, asks for help. He gets it. He relies on the people around him to help him get through the situation. I listen to the people around me. I'm not in this alone. The leaders within my company, the project managers, the office staff, estimators, superintendents, those leaders, I rely on them. I lean on them, and they lean on me, and we help each other get through the situations that we're dealing with. We're not in this journey alone. No one's in this alone. We're never in life alone. You know, I got a couple guys that work for me, and I try not to focus on what they're posting on Facebook, and they talk about how they're having these struggles and they're alone. And no, you're never alone. We've got somebody to reach out to all the time. You know, I talked in one of the other podcasts about having a support system. You know, if you honestly have a support system set up, and everybody should have at least 10 people on that list, you're never alone. You always have somebody to talk to, somebody to rely on, somebody to help you get through your situation. We're never alone. Life is a journey, and we're in it together. You know, some people choose to be alone. They choose to travel that journey by themselves, but they're truly not alone. There's always somebody out there with them. We always have somebody we can lean on, whether it's our parents, a spouse, our children, our coworkers. There's somebody out there that's always willing to help you. And sometimes we don't even have to ask for it. The people around us, the people that know us the best, they know when we're struggling. They can see it. I know when I come home. My wife knows when I had a tough day at work. She can tell I'm struggling, and she knows whether I'm going to talk about it or not, or I need to internalize it. And when I'm ready, I talk about it. We spent enough years together that she knows this. She knows where I'm at and what, but she also knows when it's time to jump in and help me when I'm not asking for help. She'll take it upon herself to, hey, I can tell something's bothering you. Do you want to talk about it? And sometimes I'm hard-headed and stubborn, say no, but eventually I open up and I say what's bugging me and what's bothering me. I need that. But I got to go through the process of what I'm dealing with. There's a process of how we internalize and deal with stuff. And we have to work it out in a certain step by step. We don't even realize it, but we have that within us. If we would take an internal look and look at each situation that we've been in our lives where we struggle with something, the step-by-step process, we do it identical every time. But as we grow, we start to change that. We start to learn from it. We start to better ourselves. We start to learn who we can rely on, who we can talk to, who helps us, and who doesn't help us. I don't need the negativity in my life. I don't need the person that's going to give me negative thoughts or ideas or, feed into the negativity. If I'm having a bad day and I'm frustrated and I'm complaining about something or a situation, I don't want to be with somebody that's going to feed into that and build upon the negativity. I want someone that's going to say, well, wait a minute. Why are you thinking like that? What's making you think? Well, let's think about it this way. I don't want the guy that's going to, oh, you're right. I can't stand that person either, or that situation. And it pisses me off and I can't deal with it. And they just keep going on. No, we don't need that. We got to get away from that. You've got to get away from the negativity. You have to focus on your emotional and mental maturity of what you're trying to create. I want to be mature emotionally and mentally. I don't want to be the negative person. I want to build on my emotions and my maturity in getting to that next level, on how to handle these situations better when it comes. That's what being a leader is. Being a leader is being able to control your emotions. One of the first things I say, and you got to realize the demographic of some of the classes that I teach, they're mostly for people that have hit rock bottom. It's for men and women out of prison, off the streets, out of drug rehabilitations that are trying to get their life back in order. And some of these people are in these behavioral health programs, and they're in these classes all day, and they're dealing with different situations. And some of the classes that I teach are in the evenings. I've done them from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It's a 2-hour class for these people that are in, their housing's provided. It's a behavioral health facility. And when they walk in there, they've been dealing with their feelings and emotions all day. And it can be very, very difficult. And one of the things that I say at the very beginning of a new class, and this is not to offend anybody, but you got to understand where these people come from. One of the first things I say is, who here is tired of talking about their feelings and emotions all day? And by a show of hands, almost every single person raises their hand. The next comment out of my mouth is, well, I'm going to tell you right now, fuck your feelings and emotions. Nobody cares. We're here to talk about working and making money. Who's in? And they cheer and they love it. And the receptiveness of this is amazing. The whole air in that room changes. Everybody's attentive. They're waiting. They're listening to every word. They're ready to get back on track. These places that they're in helps them get in touch with their feelings and emotions, because you have to take care of that. You have to learn to deal with your feelings and emotions, but you also have to learn to deal with the workplace and what you're dealing with and how to make money and be professional. So it's a balance of both worlds. They can get that from the peer support, from their behavioral health specialists. They can help them, guide them, deal with that. Now, that's not to say if you're having a tough day at work and you need someone to talk to, I'm going to listen. You can come in my office. I have an open door policy. I'm going to help you through the situation. But at the same time, when we're done, get back to work and forget about this. We can deal with it later. When you're at work, leave your feelings and emotions outside. It doesn't need to come to work. You have to learn the balance of both. You need both. You have to deal with your feelings and emotions, but you also can't let that control you. Your feelings and emotions can't control who you are, what you're dealing with. It's amazing how many people in the workplace get frustrated, get upset because they let their emotions or their feelings get the best of them. You can't do that. You need to ask for help. No one's a mind reader. No one can tell what you're going through. You have to ask for help. And to be a leader is to be able to understand your feelings and emotions and control them and not let them control you. You can't do that. I can't let my feelings and emotions, whatever I'm dealing with, come to work and mess with what I'm doing. That's not what a leader does. A leader learns to ask for help, to deal with his feelings and emotions at the right place and right time. As leaders, we have to go out there and help others deal with those feelings and emotions. We have to be able to understand what our employees, what the people working with us are going through so we can help them. We have to help them, guide them through these situations. Now, I get that it can be tough sometimes. You might be going through a divorce. You might be going through the loss of a loved one. That's normal life. That's normal stuff that we have to deal with through life. You can get through it. You have to look at it. You're not the first person to deal with this. You're not the first person to go through a divorce and still come to work, or deal with the loss of a loved one and still have to go to work and provide for your family. You are not the first to deal with these situations. There's been others. So ask for help and get it from the right place. Being a leader is learning how to lead and learning how to help people. How can I help the people that work for me become better? How can I help them deal with their day-to-day situations, their personal life situations? I want to know what everybody's going through in their personal life that work for me, because your personal life is going to affect your work life if you're not careful, and you can't do that. And you can't let your work life, your work situation go home and affect that. And you have to be careful. You have to find that balance. So as leaders, let's lead. Let's teach others how to lead. Let's guide people in the right direction. The guidance for the people leading for me is there's a step-by-step direction on each of their job duties of what to do. I'm going to guide them. I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them become the leader that they were meant to be. And if they're struggling with it, we're going to talk about it. You know, this coming up weekend, myself and one of my business partners, one of the people that are part owner of my business as well, we're going to a conference Friday, Saturday, Sunday from 8 to 5. And we're going to be listening to other business leaders. We're going to be listening to other people that have started their businesses and what they've done. I'm doing this to educate myself. You know, just because I own the company and I'm at the top of the food chain per se with this business doesn't mean I can't grow, doesn't mean I can't lead. I need to learn. I need to learn how to be a better leader. I need to learn how to be a better person. And this is a day-to-day thing. It's ever changing. We always learn something new every single day. We learn how to become better. We learn how to teach. We learn how to educate ourselves. I want to educate myself. I want to become a better leader. I want to become somebody that people look up to and respect. And I want the leaders in my company in each position to be exactly the same. I want them to be somebody that everybody else looks up to and respects. And even if they're not here for the rest of their lives working for me, if this isn't their entire career working for me, I want them to take what they learned from us and take it somewhere else and become a better leader there. Change the dynamics there, change the environment there if there's things that need to be changed. Let's look at our own lives and learn how we can grow, how we can become better, and how we can lead. How do we lead our children? How do we lead our family? How do we lead our coworkers? How do we lead people to become better? That's the goal for this week. Become better leaders and educate ourselves on this. Don't ever think, oh, I'm the best leader. I got this. No, we're never the best. We can always fine-tune it and become better. The second we think we're the best at something, that's when we start failing. We are not the best at anything. There is always room for improvement. So as you go out there this week, let's be better leaders. Let's learn to lead. Let's teach how to lead. Let's educate ourselves on being leaders. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Go out there and stay hungry.